Hey guys, True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today I'm going to discuss the aftermath of the Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders fight. Excuse me. These two guys fought on Saturday, May 8th, as everybody knows. And Canelo finished, they fought to unify belts, and Canelo finished Saunders with an 8th round TKO victory after he landed a monster uppercut that broke the orbital bone of Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo. And Saunders could not continue after the 8th round. The ring doctor came in and looked at him. He was asked if he wanted to continue. He didn't say anything. He let his corner and the doctor decide, and he retired in his corner. So, first off, about the retirement in the corner. In a sense, that is quitting, people. So, stop with your, oh, he didn't quit stuff. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If he did not come out or he couldn't continue, it was because Canelo caused him to not be able to continue by breaking his face. So people need to stop it already. You know, oh, he would have came out. One, they asked him if he wanted to come out. He didn't say anything. You know? So I think he knew he was done. But there's no shame in knowing that you're done in your corner and everybody protecting you. There's no shame in that. I didn't mean he quit like, hey, he's a quitter. I meant, hey, he stopped. His corner and the ring doctor stopped the fight. You know, and you know, I commend him for fighting a good, solid fight. He boxed well. He did some good things. He did some things other fighters haven't been able to do. But you know, this notion that Billy Joe was winning the fight, he wasn't. Canelo was outlanding him. Canelo was outworking him. Part of the reason Canelo was winning the fight, I know, hey, when you get outlanded, that doesn't just necessarily mean you win the fight. The guy who's landing more shots is winning the fight. But here's why Canelo was winning the fight. One, he's coming forward. It's called effective aggressiveness. People need to learn this term. This is what the judges score fights on. Effective aggressiveness. That means you're coming forward most of the time, and you're landing the power shots in the fight. Now, Canelo landed, I think he only landed 10 to 15 jabs in that area. It was a low number. I think he landed 73 shots. Of the rest of his punches, they're all power shots, and he landed 52% of his power shots, which is a high-ass number. He was landing more than one of every 2 shots that he threw. So, power shots. Billy Joe, a lot of his stuff was angles and jabs, which, hey, that's his style. That's the way he fights. No shame in that. But I'm sorry, it makes sense. You're going to get scored more for power shots over jabs. That's just it. And Canelo was landing the power shots. He was landing good shots. You know, Billy Joe was doing some good work, though. I don't have a problem with the fight being like 5 rounds to 2 heading into the 8th round. Even if you had it 4-3, okay. But look what happened. Say Billy Joe doesn't break his orbital bone right there. He still gets hurt, and, you know, and that makes the fight, 5 rounds to 3. And Canelo figured out in that round, he just started getting closer. Canelo was figuring Billy Joe out. Billy Joe was doing the same thing. So this notion that Billy Joe was running away with the fight, no, he wasn't. He did a couple good things towards the middle rounds. Canelo started getting closer. That's what allowed him to land that monster uppercut that hurt Billy Joe. So in the late rounds, Canelo probably takes over the fight. But all that being said, Canelo was winning the fight. I thought he was winning it clean. Again, I thought it was like 5 rounds to 2 is what I had it scored. So, you know, Billy Joe would have had to really do some big things. Yeah, I mean, Canelo couldn't have won another round if Billy Joe wanted to win the fight, if there was no knockdowns. And Billy Joe's not a knockout fighter. So if Canelo wins one more round, which I gave him that round, so 6 rounds to 2, correct? Okay. So Canelo, right there, it's at least a draw, and that's if Billy Joe sweeps the rest of the rounds. So stop it, everybody. Billy Joe was not winning. He did some good things, but you know what? Canelo is not immune to being outpointed or being in very close fights, even recently. I want to go back and look at a couple fights. Let's go back and look at the one. We can look at both Triple G fights. Most people feel Triple G won the first fight. Okay, That fight was very close. It was. Some people feel it wasn't, but Triple G gave away a lot of, about 4 of the first 5 rounds, and then Canelo won the championship rounds. He turned it up. I had it 6-6. I had it a draw. But I don't have a problem with people scoring it for Triple G. Okay, fine. But Triple G won some rounds, correct? Okay, rematch between the two. That was razor thin right down the middle. Could have went either way. Canelo was landing more power shots, and he landed a lot more body shots than Triple G. And I think that was the telling thing. Even though Triple G outlanded him, Triple G was landing more combinations, and they weren't as hard the shots, and Canelo was pushing the action. But all that being said, Triple G, you could argue he won that fight, right? Okay, so that means he won some rounds. Okay, then you go to Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs didn't lose that fight by much. It was about 8-4 I had Canelo winning. Maybe 9-3. You know, it was in that area. I think I had it 9-3 actually. But you could argue 8-4. Some people might want to be bold enough to call it 7-5. Okay, that means Canelo lost some rounds. And then Sergey Kovalev's the last one. I think people are only remembering the knockout. That was a close fight. The judges, now let's go back. Let's look at the judges. The judges had the fight scored 1 round in favor of Canelo. So he was winning by 1 point heading into that 11th round. They had Kovalev winning by 1 round. Canelo was winning by 1 round on one judge's scorecards. Kovalev was winning by 1 round on one of the judges' scorecards. So that means 6-4. They were both winning after 10. And then the third judge had it a draw. 50-50. He had 5 rounds apiece. So Canelo scored the knockout combination in the 11th round to finish Kovalev, but that means Kovalev won some rounds. So, okay, Billy Joe won some rounds. So what? Canelo is not invincible. He is just beating everybody. And if you don't know these guys, and everybody keeps going, oh, he's going on his UK tour. These are world-class fighters. Billy Joe Saunders is a good, very good fighter. Callum Smith won the World Boxing Super Series when he beat the #1 fighter at, 168 at the time, George Groves. Callum Smith knocked his ass out in the finals of the World Boxing Super Series. So, yeah, I know Groves was another British fighter, but he was also the #1 fighter in the division. So let's stop with the, UK fighter bullshit, because that's what it is. Canelo is fighting decent competition on a world level. Callum Smith was ranked #1 at 168 when Canelo fought him. That means he's a world champion and considered very good on a world level. And I'm tired of this, he's not fighting anybody bullshit. He is. He's fighting good, undefeated fighters. Are they great? No. But this is their chance and their opportunity to prove if they're good or if they're great. And Canelo has proved that Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders are not great, but they're good fighters. And he whipped both their asses. And Abney Yildirim is not either one of those. He was the mandatory #1 contender in February, and Canelo showed you that he wasn't even close to his level by whipping the shit out of him. So that's what you do against fighters like that. So Canelo, some of these guys that are good are winning some rounds. Guys that are maybe a little further than good, like very good, like Daniel Jacobs. Kovalev's a Hall of Famer. Triple G's a Hall of Famer. They have won rounds against Canelo because they're very, very good or great fighters as well. So Canelo is not immune to being outlanded, to being, at times, to being hit. He can be hit. But his thing, the reason why he's in his prime and he's a pound-for-pound best, is he continues to win and win impressively. And that's what people need to look at. So, Canelo, hats off to him. He proved why he's the pound-for-pound king. The aftermath for him is that he is going to continue, he's going to continue moving forward towards the undisputed title. He's hoping to fight Caleb Plant. I think after Plant, there's either going to be, if he beats Plant, which I think he will, and I think he beats him convincingly. If he beats Plant, he's going to end up fighting Triple G or possibly Jermall Charlo later in the year. Outside chance of Demetrius Andrade, I highly doubt it. But if Canelo does take it personal that Andre ruined his post-fight press conference, which he shouldn't, Andrade's nothing, then he might fight him, but very outside chance at that. But that's it. That's the aftermath for Canelo. He's still the pound-for-pound king. He showed you why, and it was a monster punch that he landed, and he broke the face of his opponent. Now, for Billy Joe Saunders, the aftermath for him is he showed that he is good and he can compete. He showed he's on a better level against at least a guy like Canelo than Callum Smith was. Callum Smith didn't do shit, and he didn't look like he had any heart. Billy Joe Saunders looked confident in the ring and was doing some good work and doing some good things and has nothing to hang his head about. He fought very well. So, you know, no, he shouldn't hang his head whatsoever. He fought his ass off as best as he could, and he just got caught with a wicked punch and laid out. But I don't know what this means for Saunders' career. I believe Saunders is going to take the rest of the year off to recover from that surgery. We might not see him for a year, to be honest, you know, if we see him at all. Billy Joe might retire from this. Billy Joe has never been the most dedicated in terms of making weight and stuff, and he really waited around a long time for big fights, you know, looking for a big fight instead of, you know, he's taken the Tyson Fury ploy of, you know, he just didn't have the pull that Fury has, but he took the Tyson Fury of, I'm going to fight these lower level guys in between a big fight. But the last time he was in a big fight was David Lemieux back in 2017. So, you know, before Canelo. So, you know, Billy Joe hasn't really, you know, I think he can definitely compete. I think he's absolutely a top 10 super middleweight, and he showed that against Canelo.
But for 35 miles.
I don't know how good he's going to be going forward. I don't know what he can do. It depends on how he recovers from this. This was his first career defeat, you know, but he lost to the best, so he should shake it off, move forward, and go for it in the future, you know, and try to make maybe one more run before he hangs him up. But no shame in losing to Canelo, and that's it. That's the aftermath on this, you know. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Canelo's still the pound-for-pound king and now holds 3 of the 4 belts at 168 pounds super middleweight, and hopefully he's going for undisputed. So that's it. True Boxing, keeping it hit with the truth.